after as well.
Okay.
Oh, dude, this is so cool. Okay, awesome. Sweet, man. Well, I actually am so excited right now. I forgot everything we talked about last week. Where do you think we should pick up from where we left off?
Let's see. So we were discussing. So the first week we discussed the getting into the summer.
Yep.
And then we went into kind of like I expected that.
Yep.
I knew that there was hardships going to come.
Yeah, expecting the hard stuff and being prepared for the discomfort. Remember we talked a lot about like getting being okay with the uncomfortable. I shared like my cold shower theory. It's like resistance to the pain is actually what causes more pain.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess that's actually the worst thing you can do when you're in discomfort is resist it, because that's actually what causes the most pain. Which is, dude, it's interesting. I've been studying 7 Habits, like I was telling you. And the most recent thing I studied is I'm in habit 1, be proactive right now in my live study. And Covey says, it's not what happens to us that causes the damage. It's how we react to what happens to us. Mm-hmm. And that's like I think that perfectly applies to like what we've been talking about, right?
Yeah. The awesome distribution of our passionate energy, where we can use it it just gets wasted. And when we sit around and just like give into the negative cognitions or the disruptive, ideas or the things come in, but using our tools that we've been used to go use it toward wonderful things and building our passions and our dreams and our visions.
Dude, how would you start? Like, so if I'm sitting down with a sales rep to set goals, and let's say I'm trying to like help them out of. So let me phrase this problem. I'm actually going to plug this in, and I'll phrase my question, because I've been thinking about this a lot myself. I actually would love to take this in the direction of like passion projects, the elements of a passion project with regards to like setting goals for something as grand and audacious as the summer. Because if you think about it, like for most of the guys that are doing summer sales, it's usually they come from backgrounds, and this isn't for everybody, but typically, and this was true for me, they come from backgrounds of maybe their families weren't super, super wealthy. They're not really used to the idea or of at first making as much money as they can make. And so anything that puts them outside of their normal frame of reference for like how much money is possible for them to make, is money a good thing or not? Mm-hmm. I find that like all of those cognitive distortions can limit people. And so there's almost this element of impossibility to their earnings and to their potential. And so what's helped me in working with you is like the most audacious goals that I've achieved at Moxie have been because of working with you and really getting out of my own comfort zone to view my summer as a passion project in the way that you describe it. Can we talk a little bit about that? Because I think it's super relevant for a ton of people right now, getting ready for the summer.
Yeah, for sure. Let me pull out so the first one is there's got to be a certain amount of energy and focus toward that goal. So they're getting that spiritual creation or getting that set up for you is huge first.
So it has to consume your energy and your focus, right?
Yeah. It almost energizes you. There's something energetic about it. Even though we know that there's going to be something hard that may come, we know that it energizes you towards something in the future. And so there's that vision.
Are you saying like the goal itself, or the thing you're going to pursue has to like awaken that energy within you? Like it has to be that powerful?
Yeah. It brings that energy and enthusiasm back into that individual's life. There's something that is like, man, I know it's going to be hard, but man, the end result and my vision toward it is going to be really cool.
Okay. What have you found helpful in terms of like setting goals in a passion project type way that makes it so that it infuses that energy within you?
Yeah, it usually starts with some type of hobby too. Like, what usually what does our mind hold on to on a regular basis?
Okay.
If it is like, is it school? Is it sales? Is it work? Is it
Yeah.
something that like just really jazzes us? That's
Yeah.
usually a
Yeah.
really cool seed for a passion project.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
So for me, I really love the study of psychology,
Mhm.
and viewing my most audacious summer goals as like an experiment in the study of psychology of human influence and persuasion, that infused me
Yes.
with a
Ooh.
ton of energy, because it wasn't just about like servicing 500 accounts while managing 200 people. It was more about like, how can I go use what I love, which is the study of this body of work, in the pursuit of like that goal.
Mhm.
So I was basically like hacking my mind to leverage like the thing that I loved and actually consumed my mind already a lot, right?
Mhm.
Whereas somebody else might
Yeah.
be like, they might view it as a sport, and that might be the thing that gets them energized. Is like they really like competing, and so they can build their summer goal around the idea of competition, or something along those lines. Is that, am I on to something there?
Oh yeah. For athletes, all this stuff, everything, like, yeah, just even your competitive nature on knowing how to, like, because when you get competitive, you want to, especially in psychology, you want to go research how to influence people and do
Yeah.
it in a really effective way because I
Mhm.
want them to have this product, right?
Yeah, totally.
Definitely jazzes you. You can even tell
Yeah,
on your face. You're like, oh,
bro. I mean, yeah, because
get more
when I
information.
when I think to myself like, oh, I'd love to service 1,000 accounts, that seems really daunting. But when I think, what if I could learn how to get 1,000 people to make a decision in a way they normally wouldn't, and do so
Mhm.
by a more deep and thorough understanding of how people make decisions?
Mhm.
That like is framing it that way is way more exciting to me than just some number goal. That seems to
Yeah.
like merit the consumption of like my passion, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, because then you're like, you're not only jazz, because when you learn of a new personality type, because you're going to go study the 16 personalities, you're going to go
Yeah.
study all the different areas of anything to make sure that you can, like, man, ooh, how would I sell to a protagonist? How would I sell to
Yeah.
a mediator? You getting all those other areas down too.
Ethos, pathos, logos.
Hmm.
Understand like which four. There's another one that's like the four squares of it. I Yeah, I tend to think that everyone makes decisions all the same. It's just a matter of what variables line up. But that
Yeah.
was the most breakthrough thing for me ever. Was like, oh, this doesn't actually have to be daunting. This can be really fun.
Ah,
Like this
yeah, for sure.
passionate energy.
Hmm.
That's cool. Okay, yeah, man, that's actually a breakthrough for me. I didn't even realize that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The second one is engages one to give their whole heart and soul to an inspired cause.
Ah, interesting.
One of the things I've always thought about you and I've always loved about you is you've always wanted to give back to someone or something, or something to say, man, if I get this goal, like, I'm going to be able to do this for this person. I'm going to do this for be able to do this for this person.
Yeah,
So when I've always thought, I'm going to be able to give back to my church a little bit more. I'm going to be able to do this.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I can't. It's really hard for me to get excited about money alone. I just can't do it.
Mhm.
I've tried. I can't do it. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah, you're, being, if it's philanthropy, whatever it is, inspired cause. Like,
Hmm.
that's why I love, there's so many things like Operation Underground Railroad. There's
Yeah.
so many cool things out there that we can, like, now, if I do this as a salesman, I can give to this program. I can do this.
Mm,
Or in my sales work, even the micro, macro, micro, meso, macro levels of giving back to inspired cause,
dude,
because
I
I'm
just had
giving
a
this to this person, right? That's more micro level.
bro. You just I just have a very inspired thought. I'm gonna text you right now.
Hmm.
I don't know if my computer is even hooked up to. If it doesn't go through, I'll text it to you after.
Okay, Perfect.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Dude, nice.
Okay, wow. Okay, so oh dang. All right, can you state that one more time? That was like
Yeah.
a big moment for me just to say. It's about
Engages one to give their whole heart and soul to an inspired cause.
okay. So we want to hear a kind of a breakthrough that me and Mateo have had as we've been working
Oh
on
yeah,
like this idea
definitely.
of statement of definite purpose. So one of the things that has been a really key for me is like, and I've shown you my statement of definite purpose where it's like the specific time-based goal that's in the present tense and all the reasons why I want to achieve that goal. And then you can convince yourself that you can achieve it and ingrain it within your subconscious by repeating it or reading it morning and night. And as long as there's an emotion attached to it, something that's like passionate, and as long as it engages, like you're saying, inspires you to a worthy cause to give your whole heart and soul, then it's almost inevitable you'll achieve it as long as you stay persistent with doing it morning and night. So, but the breakthrough that Mateo and I had was if you can actually tie that summer goal to your mission, like your unique, and it's two things: your identity, so like who you are,
Mhm.
your changeless core, and your unique changeless mission. If you can tie it to that, and it feels like actually accurate that it can be tied to your mission, that's like, dude, there's some strong emotion that happens there.
Mhm.
So
Oh yeah.
let me give you an example, dude. And this is I was going to talk to you about this on our session tomorrow, but I just can't wait. Um, so before my statement of definite purpose, and I've actually achieved really audacious goals with just this format. How I would start it is I would start it with emotion. So I would put myself at the end of the summer and I'd say, I just achieved, let's say I just achieved 500 accounts for the first time. How
Mhm.
do I feel emotionally? Okay, so I feel relieved, grateful, happy, motivated, confident. So I would say I'm so grateful, motivated, and confident that by September 15th, 2021, I have serviced 500 accounts and have made X amount of money, which is entering into my bank account on the whatever, whatever. And then the rest of the statement of definite purpose would be like why that's meaningful, what it actually, like my plan to achieve it, the fact that I'm convincing myself that I can, the good that I'll do with it, how it's purpose driven, right? Okay, so
Mhm.
the breakthrough that we had though was what if you started that with your unique identity and mission? So for now, mine starts something like this: because I am a son of God who was born and placed on this earth to teach his children by word and example. I am so happy, confident, and grateful that by whatever time I'm achieving X goal.
Oof.
And
Perfect.
now that goal, because I'm already creating that goal in line with my mission, I'm just assuming that I'm not going to make a goal unless it's in line with who I want to be, right?
Right.
Because I'm already creating it that way, stating that at the beginning that like because I am this unique, changeless identity and core within me, that's actually the reason why I'm going to achieve this goal. Isn't that
Mhm.
cool?
Oh, so good.
What are your
Gives
thoughts on that?
you all the in that type of statement. We call those warrior chemistry, reason for fighting statements, identity statements that gets you to because there's a lot of chemicals that come up and stymie us in our process.
Yeah,
But that those type of goals, especially if remembered, put on a 3x5 card or whatever,
yeah.
and revealed and reviewed on a regular basis, that gives
Mm,
us the motivation that has the potential to give us the motivation to get back on track.
dang, dude.
Huge.
Yeah, it's big. That's big.
That's why it's revelatory. It's inspired. That's why your whys. There's got to be divine assistance there. There's got to be some engagement with your higher power in order to
Yeah,
get there,
yeah, yeah.
for sure.
And the reason why I think that, well, just to add to what you just said, engagement with your higher power, it's like when you are basing your desired outcomes of like the things that you're passionate about on your changeless being, like who you are. Like I can't take away the fact that I'm a son of God. Like
Mhm.
no people could convince me that I'm not, but there's no changing the fact that that's true, right? So if the things that I do are based on something that is changeless, then I'm much more likely to actually follow through with those things during the hard times, if in fact they are in line with that, right?
Yeah. They become your trust fall. Your trust fall into that identity because you
Yeah,
know it. You know you can rely on it. There's been other things that come in that thought that you could rely on that, but you can trust back. You can fall back on those things and know that,
dude.
ooh, even though I'm going through this hardship, because I'm using the tools and whatever necessities I need to get to that, I can fall back on that.
Yeah,
I
that's
can
huge.
trust that.
Wow.
Identity is one of those biggest things. Either
Yeah, dude.
trustworthy or trustful. Like, man, we need to figure out identity. It's huge.
Bro, that's wow. Yeah. I mean, and I was, it's interesting. Do you think people shy away from accepting like what their core like identity is?
Yeah,
Do
big
you
time.
find
We
that
call
in the
it
people you work with?
we call it the Jonah Complex, or
Jonah
just
Complex. Huh.
I think the new it's called Imposter Syndrome. It comes in. Jonah
Hmm.
Complex is just you just know you can go and do all these things. There's been some power given to you, but you just shy away from it. You get caught up in a whale, and that spin
Yeah.
just starts taking us over.
Huh.
So whenever
Interesting.
imposter complex comes in or that, like,
Why does that happen from like a
just because
neuropsychological perspective?
I don't know if you've ever heard of the quote by Marianne Williamson,
Dude, I literally
the
was just
deepest
about to quote
fear,
it to you. Is not that we're inadequate. I literally, bro, this is like same exact wavelength. You can keep quoting it,
Exactly.
but I'm not kidding. 5 seconds ago was about to quote that to you. This
Exactly.
exact thing you're gonna say. You can
It's our
say it.
deepest fear. Our deepest fear is what we can do, and we shrink from that. I'm totally paraphrasing, but like when we shrink in those times, our
Yeah,
deepest fear is that not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond reason,
on measure. Who am I to?
beyond measure.
Yeah, dang, dude.
Yeah,
Who are you not to
can't
be? Right?
shrink. For you not to be acting toward that amazing identity.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
key. Wow. Um, so is it that we fear something to lose if we like accept like greatness? Is that what's
Well,
happening? It's like our brains are like the reptilian brains trying to protect us
exactly.
from any downfall from there, where it's almost like it's Rich and I talk a lot about this, how he's for some weird reason studied prisoners a lot, and he's like, it's interesting how um in prison, like it's weird to watch how like people just they have nothing to lose. So um you fight pretty hard when you have nothing to lose, you know?
Well, why wouldn't you go back there? Why, that's why recidivism rates are crazy highs, because you get three hots in a cot. Even
Yeah.
though that cot is a freaking concrete slab, and your bed is like a 3-inch
Yeah.
plastic mattress, and you get this little tiny pillow. I worked in prison, so I'm like, man, this is the worst.
That's right, you did,
But
huh?
it's three hots in a cot. It's the most semblance of continuity and foundation for people. Is a lot better what they live in.
Hmm,
And so
interesting.
we get comfortable, and we fear losing our coping strategies. And so a
Yeah,
lot of times,
interesting.
if we fear losing our coping strategies, we don't want to embrace our potential. It's
Yep.
really
I mean,
comfortable just sitting to be a couch potato.
dude, yeah,
Why would I
totally.
want to do anything different?
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas like the perceived pain of losing something if you now are at the top is like that's that's tough. If you're basing your identity on outcomes. Interesting, dude. Okay, sorry, I'm going down the rabbit hole there. What's the
Well,
next?
that's why you like you almost thrive in that competition of you're one of those disruptive innovators. You're not unlike Elon Musk, or like the guys that you've told me about. They're just like, whoa, this guy, he wants more responsibility. He doesn't want to like pull power down. He wants to, he wants to pull power down from on high. He doesn't
Yeah,
want to pull from the earth. And so it's very, we get competitive, and people are really afraid of that responsibility. I don't blame them. It's hard to be responsible, having
right.
more on your shoulders. But man, the freedom with that responsibility is awesome.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Man, dude, that's awesome. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So just to recap, the first two elements of, I'm just going to call it setting a powerful goal, or that like
Yeah.
becomes a passion for you for the summer, is
Mhm.
has it.
Brings
So
energy and
yeah,
enthusiasm.
energy and enthusiasm, and then makes it so that you're devoting yourself to a worthy cause. Is that, will you say that one again?
Yeah. Engages one to give their whole heart and soul to an inspired cause.
Inspired cause. Awesome. Okay. And then what's element number 3?
Now, and all this criteria, I don't know. I really want to. It's from Reese Harker. Reese Harker
Mm-hmm.
is one of my greatest mentors ever, and so all this comes from his inspired vision on how to get people to the point where they can maintain recovery after they get through hardship. So,
Sure.
um,
Yeah. Awesome.
third one is requires divine assistance to complete. Each individual must learn to set miraculous level goals that cannot be achieved without an alliance with their higher power.
Dude, I love that. Yeah. So
That's my favorite part.
is the element of impossibility different than this, or is that the element
It
of
goes
impossibility?
that aligns with that. There's an element of impossibility where you gotta, when you look back at achieving a goal, you're just like, how in the world did I do that? I
Yeah.
needed help. I needed my faith. I needed something to get that to that point.
Yeah. Sarah and I, in our scripture study last night, we were reading about that, where um, when the Nephites that were, because they boasted in their own strength, they were left in their own strength,
Yeah.
and I think all too often that happens when we start to achieve goals that are decently audacious, and ones that we're typically incapable of achieving or becoming the type of people to achieve without a higher power. It's easy to start boasting in your own strength, and then you find out that you actually can't continue that trajectory and do it the right way without that higher power.
It's just hard. If we boast in our own strength, we're also blaming ourselves for our. There's a lot of blame there too if we
Oh,
start making
interesting.
mistakes during that. And so that's why, like, getting out of the kind of like arm of the flesh also eases us too,
Oh, dude.
because we know that there's something that we can fall back on.
Dude, that's actually so, man, it's so timely that you just said that. That's an insight I had yesterday as well. I was helping one of my team leaders build out their statement of definite purpose for the summer. And the thought that I had was, when you can set your goals and have them stem from your unchanging identity, you mitigate the risk of like self-emotional harm. I don't mean to
Hmm.
say that flippantly, but like basically beating yourself up for no reason if
Right.
you don't hit your goals, because you're basically saying like, no, because I am this unchanging identity, and because this is my unique mission, I don't have to get bent out of shape if I am not perfect right away. I can get up and
Mhm.
try again, because it's worth me getting up and trying again. Um, it's just a lot easier to not be so hard on yourself, I feel like.
Yeah, because it really promotes those negative identities that come in if we fail. I'm a failure, like that. That doesn't produce energy. It actually
Yeah.
wastes it. And so the more that we stay in those negative identity statements, negative cognitions, or they just waste that. And so the more we can realign with the new identity, it's huge.
And that's big, big, big. Dang, dude. Okay, so restate the last one again. Number 3, you have to align
Yeah,
yourself with higher power, right?
yeah. Requires divine assistance to complete. Each individual must learn to set miraculous level goals that cannot be achieved without an alliance with God.
Requires divine assistance to complete. Bro,
Hmm.
this was I finally gave words to a thought that I've had for a really long time this last week. And that is, I have no business setting goals for myself that I believe I can achieve. So if I set a goal for myself right now and I already am confident that I can achieve it in my own capabilities, like that seems really useless to me, because that would dictate that I don't have to change who I am to achieve that goal, right? It requires no change, no connection with God. It requires no faith. It requires no rescripting of myself. There's no like
Right.
voluntary rebirth there. So
Mhm.
I realized that like I actually don't ever set goals for myself that when I set them initially, I believe I can achieve. And that's actually how I know which goals I need to set, is because I realize if I can strip everything away, I want it. But so if I both want it and it aligns with who I want, my ideal self, and I don't
Mhm.
believe I can achieve it, that's the goal that I should be setting, because that will require me teaming up with divine assistance in order to achieve it. And
Mhm.
I think that so often people just set goals they think they can achieve, and so therefore they don't actually have to. They'll change incrementally, but like people are always surprised at like how different I am year to year just in my growth. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you except for the fact that like I'm forced to rescript myself, or like I feel like I'm dying if I'm not doing that. I might as well just like decay away.
Right. For sure.
Anyway, that was a unique insight I
Dude,
had.
that's awesome.
Any thoughts on that?
No, it's just that, that's why I call it fire to fire passion, man. Once that old passion project, we achieve it, we're working on the next one. Or when
Yeah,
we're figuring out that, man, this one's about ready to die out because I'm achieving it. As I do my reflection back on it, man, I wrecked it and I'm ready to get to my next one.
yeah,
And that's where it's awesome. That's why this life can be kind of like just a really good, slow or fast, right?
hmm
um, Kind of boring, but it's always going up type roller coaster instead of
yeah.
always up and down.
Dang,
So
that's awesome, man. Okay,
yeah,
what's the next element? I know we've only got a few minutes
yeah,
here.
teaming up with one or more fellow warriors or fellow coworkers, whoever it is, to synergize power and maintain momentum.
Oh, cool.
Teaming up
So
option, awesome.
having to synergize with other people,
Mhm.
very nice. I
Yeah,
love it.
I was meeting with a guy. He was like, man, I want to set up a 3-on-3 basketball tournament because he has this friend in the neighborhood that he loves basketball, but he deals with some disabilities, and he wants to name it that guy's name, 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
Okay.
And he's like, Cody, I'm just scared to death because he wants to invite food trucks, he wants to talk to the administrators at Kaysville. He's like, I'm just scared to death of talking on the phone or talking to adults. How do I do that? I was like, dude, let's team up with somebody. Who do you
Mhm.
know? Or I mean, you can work through that too. We can work you through that, but maybe it'd be good to get some ideas from a person that can actually talk to those
Sure.
people. And so we're thinking about how to team up to do that. And so, and especially in sales, like one of the biggest things is what I've seen over the summer when I was working with some people, the comparison or the like almost like the jealousy that comes in because somebody's doing better. Like, oh
Yeah.
man, that's a perfect time to team up, dude. If that jealousy comes in, go look into them. Like, see if you can get some information from them about how to
Yeah. Yeah.
team up with them.
When jealousy
So
comes in, go seek to learn from the person that you're feeling jealousy towards. Dude, that's an insight right there, huh?
if they'll let you, sometimes they won't let you,
Yeah,
but
true. And it's hit or
unfortunately,
miss whether or not they even understand what's making them good.
right? Yeah. But having
But
that even as a team, like, ooh, this is our goal as a team. This is how many accounts we want this year. This is the revenue.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I find that like when a leader can get his team bought into a goal as a group,
Mhm.
such that each individual is actually pushing aside their own like vanity or pride about the competition with the team, there's some really cool things that happen to all those individuals and like their performance.
Yeah, I
It's
think I remember
great.
you telling me about a team that, man, they won like a trip to Panama or something. I can't remember what
Yeah,
it was, but like how
yeah,
they
the
came
Buckeye
together and they
Toro.
just wrecked it. So
Yep. Yeah, man.
what
Yeah,
that
every team
takes,
that the
awesome.
most recent teams that I've led in my career, like my personal teams, that's always something that I've strived to do, is like create feeling of selflessness amongst the team to where we're pursuing something together, and that there's like a genuine happiness for other people's success.
Yeah.
Because if you can foster that, man, it's like there's some cool things that happen with the relationships amongst the people. I mean, some of my best friends have been formed from those teams. That's really
And
cool.
once again, just to where that comparison or that jealousy takes your energy, and if you get to that gratitude and that happiness, that's huge.
Yeah. It's massive, dude.
Or you can wait till you're older and wait to have all that gratitude and stuff. You can wait on it, guys. Take your time.
Yeah, just see how it works out for you.
Yeah.
What else are we missing in terms of the elements?
So this is really, really key, and this is why I love it for anybody. Like, we all deal with stuff. We're always slipping backward on different things, but
Sure.
provides positive momentum to avoid slipping backward. So the things that
Right.
maybe we used to cope with in the past, whether it be an addiction or some type of mental health disorder, when we're
Yeah.
in passion projects, it doesn't distract us from these behaviors or attitudes or whatever we're dealing with, but it actually gets us to the point where we adopt a new identity. And so we're just like, oh, we don't even, I'm not going to worry. Like, I haven't been tempted. I haven't been, dealing with this because, man, I'm so focused on my passion.
Yeah.
So it does that for you.
I
The
love
next
it.
one is improves the lives of others, one person at a time or in groups of 1,000.
Or in groups of 1,000, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Millions, maybe, So, but that's one of the best requirements. If it doesn't help another person, it doesn't. This is one of the key ones. It doesn't count as a passion project.
I love it.
Or a really good goal.
Yeah. That's I think that's something that all of the salesmen that I work with would do well to proactively seek out, is like how the service that they're selling actually makes people's lives better, and at all costs avoid believing people before they've actually had the service do that for them, so because it's easy for good people to believe the objections that people give them and how they feel about their current service or whatever. But like if they can proactively seek out and almost stubbornly just believe that it's actually doing good for them because it is, then they can view their goal as actually giving someone something that's beneficial for them. And that's what they should be doing anyway. Like, I think a lot of unhappiness comes from viewing your summer as just, oh, I'm just here to make money, and then I don't really care what happens. Yeah, interesting, man. That's cool. Is that the last one?
No, but can I share one little thing on that a little
Do
bit?
it.
So
Yeah,
I was in a meeting with David A. Bednar at BYU Idaho once, and he was sharing an experience that he had with Gordon B. Hinckley about attendance at BYU Idaho, and I can't remember if it was David A. Bednar or his administrative assistant that was presenting to Gordon B. Hinckley. He said he was presenting on the numbers or on the attendance and how many people get denied into BYU Idaho every year.
Sure.
And this guy was sharing with a lot of confidence, yeah, we're only denying maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people every year to come to BYU Idaho.
Yeah.
And Gordon B. Hinckley was like, well, what's that going to do to them? Like, why would you ever deny anybody an experience to come to BYU Idaho?
Huh.
Why are you denying these people? We need to set up a system where everybody can, if they're seeking out some type of opportunity to come in and be at your school, why in the world would you deny that? Well, I mean, there's obvious reasons there, but you can guess, of course, if you know Gordon B. Hinckley, he's like, dude, I want inclusion for everybody,
Yeah.
So what is it that we can do? And that's when they started BYU Pathway and all those things.
That's profound.
So just like, dude, we want to help the lives of others and everybody, so
totally. And
he's
shifting,
really good dude like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's we could go a whole session on that, on like re-scripting yourself to view what you're doing as a win-win for the people involved. But that's powerful. And like by not like viewing what you're doing, if it in fact it is true, which with what we're doing it is, as if some people might not accept it, but you should not be denying people the chance to by not trying hard enough, right?
Yeah. Why don't you get a little uncomfortable, get a little awkward to see what we can do, even if it, it's just because it's a 10-second worth of awkwardness doesn't mean it's gonna ruin their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, when I
Wait,
started selling, I was so broke that I had to get uncomfortable, even though that's the worst thing for me, is making people uncomfortable in that way.
Yeah, it is.
I was so broke though, I just didn't have a choice. I was like, I didn't even know how good our service was yet, but I trusted that it was because of Tim's promise to me that it was. But I was just like, I don't even have a choice. Like I have to. I can only leave when people kick me off their doorstep because I just don't even know what it takes to sell people yet. And then luckily I figured it out by doing that,
Yeah.
And now my selling style is very much not that, but I've only gotten good because I was willing to get uncomfortable to give people our service.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the next one is aligns the frontal lobe, the spirit, and the more primal energies in each person into a well-tuned harmony. So it gets that synergy with our brain and body when we know what we're fighting for. It aligns all those things. Because if each one of those things are just operating on their own, especially the primal energies tend to get to the point where we want to relent or stay stuck in the belly of the whale.
Yeah.
But all these together help us face those fears.
Got it.
Reinforces the next one, reinforces the person's new identity, connecting them to their future and not their past.
Right.
So that's huge. Just being reminded that they're creators. They're going to go out there and do stuff. They're son of God, whatever it is, whatever their new identity
that's cool. Is. That's how we start. Well, at the beginning with identity, but that's I'd forgotten. I haven't visited these elements specifically since the last time we built out an audacious goal for me. And so selfishly, I'm actually prefacing what we're going to do probably in the next little bit with you and I, like in my own stuff. But I thought it was
going to add one more thing to that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was just say, like, you just know that you're going to be reminded of those old identities as you're seeking this new, even currently in the new identity. The old identities are going to come in and and those old parts are going to come in and try to stymie you and get you to quit, get you to kind of relent, back to the status quo. And so, be aware of that.
The thought I just had about that. So, do you think when ancient Israel was sacrificing their goats, that the goats would just like willingly want to be killed?
No way.
No, anything that we kill is going to resist, right? And so, like when we're killing off the identities, that's essentially what you're doing. Is you're like slaughtering your old identities. There's going to be resistance there. Nobody goes willingly to the slaughter. And so if you just expect it, then you can expect those identities to try to kind of creep back in,
you're no good to me anymore. I'm killing you off.
Kill them off.
Yeah.
It's a little morbid, but that's the thought that I had. I was like, oh man, but like they're making those sacrifices for a good reason, right? So, I don't imagine that little goats we even want like are willingly accepting that. Okay. Is there two more?
No, that's it.
That's it. Okay, will you just recap them like rapid fire?
Yes, sir. Ooh, I got to pull back it up 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay.
This is really good
for me. So it brings energy and enthusiasm back into the individual's life.
Okay.
Engages one to give their whole heart and soul to an inspired cause.
Okay.
Requires divine assistance to complete. Each individual must learn to set miraculous level goals. Goals that cannot be achieved without an alliance with God. Teaming up with one or more fellow warriors to synergize power and maintain momentum.
Okay.
Provides positive momentum to avoid slipping backward.
Okay.
Improves the lives of others, one person at a time or in groups of 1,000 or 1,000,000, whatever.
Yeah.
Aligns the frontal lobe, the spirit, and the more primal energies in each person into well-tuned harmony.
Cool.
Reinforces
7.
the person's new identity, connecting them to their future, not their past.
So 8 elements total. And the cool thing is, man, is like, so the goals that people set for their sales performance in the summer can do all of those things. And I think that that's just what makes us unique in the way that we're going about this, is like, you don't have to view what you're doing in the summer just as a means to an end. It can very well be the thing that helps you become the best version of yourself if you allow it to. And I think setting the goals in the way that we're talking about is like absolutely the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. Do you like this line of thought where we're going in more of preparation rather than like what's happening during the summer?
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of liking that flow, because I
Yeah,
imagine if
it
we keep
is.
doing
It's
this, then we
great.
can even do real time stuff during the summer too, where like, for a training during the day, it's you and I talking about like specific things happening on the doors
Ooh,
during the summer. Whereas right now,
love
maybe
that.
what's more relevant is like the first creation type of stuff, the preparation,
Mm-hmm.
I imagine we talk about like the simulation of and flagpoles and man on the mountain, things like that. That sounds cool to me
Mm-hmm.
if you're up for it.
Oh yeah, because
Okay.
I mean, when you're right in the thick of it, all those questions are going to be so, because of the pain of the question. Like there's the pain or the thing that the person's going through. You're right there, similar to going into a doctor's office and like, dude, this is so painful.
Yeah.
I just broke my leg. This is
Yeah.
so painful. I just got hit really hard on a door. You know?
Yeah. Totally. Dude, I
Yeah.
love it. Well, thanks, Code. I appreciate your time, man,
Yeah,
and I'm excited to meet with you one-on-one tomorrow.
dude. Me too, man.
Okay. All right. We'll see you next time.
See you, brother.